Here in South Australia, 1 in 3 children are reported to child protection by age 10. That's up from 1 in 4 at the time of the Nyland Royal Commission, despite all of our best efforts to change. We must take into consideration the changing nature and growing complexity of our world when we consider the challenges that we've experienced in achieving effective reforms to child protection. But at its core, the reason we've failed to stem the tide of demand on child protection is because the incidence of abuse and neglect is so very high. Our system is not fit for purpose. For more than a decade, the ACCP have been leading a call to radically rethink our approach to child protection, with mounting recognition globally that we need to stop reforming and instead transform our approach to protecting children. But what would genuine transformation look like? So starting up, what if we didn't report all abuse and neglect to child protection? The principle of least intrusive intervention is critical when we use statutory powers. When we report children with help-seeking parents who, with support, can keep their children safe, it's actually a principle we're failing to uphold. However, a change to mandatory reporting law and practice is insufficient. Alone, it may even be dangerous if we do not address the chronic unmet need resulting from South Australia's underinvestment in supports for families. Appallingly, more than half of SA families who are referred to the Child and Family Support System do not receive a service because there are simply not enough services. However, new data from the Department of Human Services that I'm able to share publicly for the first time today show that more than 90% of children in families who engage in high-intensity family support do not enter out-of-home care. The current investment is preventing around 100 children from entering care every year. And if that's not enough, for every $1 spent on family support, the state achieves a $1.90 return on investment. There can be no excuse. Effective support for families pays for itself. While ever child protection is seen as the agency responsible for preventing abuse and neglect, we will continue to fail, and we will continue to unfairly judge child protection for the failures of our whole of government response. Poverty, homelessness, or a lack of access to help should never be sufficient cause for a child to be separated from their parents. We are calling for a commitment to introduce new KPIs for all heads of government agencies to demonstrate how they're working to keep children out of care, as a key lever to drive a whole-of-government approach. There are many solutions in Australia, like SA's successful family group conferencing programs. But we're also hopeful that ACCP's appointment as the independent evaluator of the European Barnahus Network will provide us evidence of different ways of working. The voice of children and families impacted by child protection systems will be essential in getting this right. I think this research has the potential to be some of the Centre's most important work to date. I look forward to sharing that at a future event with you all. Aboriginal communities need Aboriginal-led and designed services, with evidence showing these services are delivering results for Aboriginal children and families. Often, actually, when we look at Aboriginal ways and learn from Aboriginal ways of knowing, being and doing, it can deliver results for all children, like family group conferencing. As we re-examine what we know and where the gaps are in our knowledge, we, and particularly those with a lived experience of our system, already hold a lot of the answers about what practice works. What we need now is the courage to really listen, to pay attention to what we know works, and to be prepared to dismantle the services and systems that are not serving us well. There's a lot about our approach to protecting children that needs to change. But before I close, I wanted to acknowledge the professionals within the system who came into this field because they wanted to be part of the solution and are striving to support children and families. You're rarely thanked, and you're too often held to account for the failures of a system we all inherited. So this National Child Protection Week, I wanted to thank you all for your commitment and partnership in shifting conversation into action. Thank you.